To Apex Investor. This is the update for Tuesday, September 28th to Friday, October the 1st. So let's look at what happened on Tuesday. So the big winner on Tuesday was HYZN or HYZN. They were down minus 28%. I should say big loser. You can see the NASDAQ was down a little bit at 14,500 points. The Dow was around 34,000. And the big winner was GoGo at plus 37%. Naked was also down 3%. And scrolling down there to look at the unusual volumes, nothing much to say. At this point, IRNT was actually on Tuesday, I should say. IRNT was around $26 on Tuesday. Metamaterials was at 621. So we can see quite a contrast between what happened on Tuesday and what happened today on Friday. UVXY was up 15%, which indicates much volatility, which is not a good indicator for retail investors. Besides that, I don't see much movers and shakers. Lately, I've discovered, well, Bitcoin was down to 42,000. It's recovered since then. FTEG was up 14%. That's a penny stock. HCMC was down, another penny stock, and AMC was at 36.99. GameStop at 178. So we can see that GameStop, I think, is relatively around the same price, but we'll take a look at that later on. Metamaterials finished at 621 on Tuesday. I think we can see an upward trend here on Tuesday. However, we'll find out what happened on at the end of this week's trading session. The volume was 36 million, so that was good. I just want to look at the days range. 573 to 653. Okay. We can see that most of the day was red, and there was somewhat of a panic among people who like to panic. But I have to admit, I was not anxious at all. Normally I would be, but since doing this channel, I've been able to be more calm about things. There was something to report. In regards to so the court to finalize tomorrow. Okay, so looks like the merger, not the merger, the acquisition was finished, was completed. A lot of comments about that. I'm just going to skip over it. Here's a Nanotech's announcement regarding the acquisition. So that's very good. I don't think people understand just how positive this development is, where they acquired Nanotech a while back. This is really going to affect the company moving forward, not just into the next month or 6 months, but into the next 10 years. It's going to be a very impactful acquisition that they've done. Okay, so here's the Blavatnik National Awards. Andrea Alou won the award. So that is a good recognition, and he's also a staff member of Metamaterials. Okay. So there is a, on the website, arpost.co, they talk about how Niantic is going to be presenting. They also talk about how Metamaterials will be presenting as well. So Metamaterials is in very good company. You can see Adobe, Facebook, Niantic, Qualcomm, Metamaterials, and Dispelix. So this company is for real. They're with some really big tech giants there. Okay. And it says here, Metamaterials is buying all the shares of Nanotech which means they are effectively buying the entirety of nanotech using cash the same way they buy a new chair for their office. It's a funny analogy. There are no changes in metamaterials shares. Nanotech shareholders get a $1.25 per share that they hold in cash, no metamaterials shares or anything like that. For all retail related purposes, this is not a merger. Again, this is an acquisition. The share price may be rising as nanotech shareholders that invested based on nanotech's productivity and innovation may be choosing to buy into metamaterials now. Now that metamaterials will hold everything that the nanotech people once held. So that's a good explanation. Thank you for that. Okay, so what is happening? The merger includes acquisitions of remaining shares. And there's the website for metamaterials. I just end the video with that. And their website is very sharp. Takes a while to load. That's how sharp it is. And very Stark, Tony Stark-like. So I think that's all. And then I just celebrate that how, although the market was down, metamaterials was up. Here's the update, skipping all the way to Friday. We can see that the Dow Jones ended on a plus 34,000. So things did get back better. They got better, I should say, got back better. NASDAQ also recovered somewhat. And the big loser of today was Spire Global, SPIR, negative 43. Omer was down 38%. There was a stock, IRNT, that was down too, but it seemed to disappear from this list, interestingly. And that's my big update. You're going to listen into that. PED was up 42%. And that's all the, those are the stocks that I recognize at least. So that's all for that. Let's look at the trending stocks next. Welcome back. So as you can see, I'm going to do something I've never done before. I'm just going to click change, and that way I can look at all the big losers today. So the big movers and shakers today, IRNT was down 17%. Actually, they were down negative 25%. And I was able to take my own advice. In one of my videos, I presented IRNT, and I said in the video that the Apex Investor entry point expert mode is $10 to $13. I took my advice for the very first time since starting this channel. So I bought IRNT, 100 shares at $12.90 average share price. And I'm up already just today. So that's good news. Sorrento is down 10%. And UVXY is down, which indicates that's a good indicator, meaning that there's more stability. Metamaterials, we're going to take a closer look at that. It was down a little bit at 559. So we'll take a closer look at that one. Overall, looking for any buying opportunities here. I don't see many except for IRNT, which I actually bought today. So it's my first trade in a long time since buying metamaterials. So I'll get into that a little bit later. And in terms of other big movers and shakers, just going through here, looking for anyone that's very relevant here. XOS is down. A lot of these stocks that I looked at were down. Vaxart is also down at almost 10%. So that one kind of went under the radar, but that's also down as well. And moving on, BlackBerry is just under $10. And GameStop is at $176.91. That seems to not be going up too much. AMC is at $38.46. And in terms of positives, Bitcoin is up at 48,000. If you remember on the Tuesday update, just earlier in the video, they were down to 42,000. So they've rallied significantly since then. I think over 20%. LMFA, two penny stocks here, is up 10%, and HCMC, another penny stock, up 20%. So I want to take a closer look at metamaterials. That is the darling of this channel, number one darling. And the volume was 11 million, so just above half. The range was 535 to 588. So it did rally, actually was down. It dipped at 538, went up to 565 and ended the week pretty good, about $5. I mean, it's not $6, but that'll take time. Might be by the end of the year, sometime before December 31st, we could see them get to $6, maybe even $10 is my projection. Again, I'm not a financial advisor or expert, so take what I say with a grain of salt. Moving on to IRNT. This is really the story for today. This is now the second darling of this channel. As you can see, it was at 12:51 today. I'm just going to reload this for you and get the updated price. Again, I took my own advice for the first time since starting this channel. The volume was 14 million. So this was oversold, I believe. I think we should take a closer look at this on FinViz as well. And the days range was 1251 to 1514. Wow, I didn't realize it went up all the way up to $15. So I ended up buying a bunch of shares at 13, actually I should say 1290. Okay, so yeah, so that's all for IRNT. So I did take my advice for the first time since starting this channel, and the range was 1251 to 1514. And the volume, again, I said that already. So this is a company that was started by a former employee of the US federal government. So I'm going to move on and show you the subreddit for IRNT. There was a lot of fear going on, and pretty much I think this swayed me to buying the stock. Not only was it my own advice, where I took my own advice that the entry point expert mode was $10 to $13 per share. But we can see that, look at this. I mean, this says it all. If you see something like this on a subreddit for a stock, the fear is very high. It's just everyone is panicking. They're jumping ship, and that's when you jump on that ship, when they're jumping off the ship. Especially if you do your homework and realize this company has a lot of potential, and the person heading it has possible connections, most likely with the federal government. So he isn't setting himself up for failure. And this was trending very highly on the trending stocks. Let me see. It is taking a lot of attention, maybe even in a negative way, but I'm trying to see here where that post was. Okay. Well, this is one of the most shorted stocks as well, IRNT. So I'm going to close that and get into this next post talking about Merck. So they have a medication that seems to help with this situation going on around the world, this CLOV situation. And their stock went up today because they are offering not a poke, not a needle, but a pill that seems to be very effective, likely effective, called molnupiravir. So I can talk about this because they're not canceled and they are big pharma. So this could be a possible alternative option for people who don't want to take the needle. So that is very good news, and good news for Merck as well, because their stock is up. So they're going through phase 2 trials and phase 3 as well. Ironically, the needle is also going through a phase 2 trial right now on the global scale. So that's all for that. Not going to comment on that situation any further. I'm going to go to the next post here. That was from another website talking about JP Morgan Chase boss Jamie Dimon or Dimon or Dimon. I don't know how to pronounce that. Jamie says the bank is preparing for a potentially catastrophic federal default on October 18th if Congress fails to raise the debt ceiling while passing Biden's $3.5 trillion spending bill. So we could see a possible recession this month, in the middle of the month, if this comes true. I'm just going to take a closer look at metamaterials as well. So as you can see on Tuesday, yeah, we did hit a high of around $6. And then on Wednesday, we opened at 643. So this was the highest it has been in quite a while. So it started off the day on Wednesday at 613, went up to 643, and then it finished the day, it really dipped here towards the end of the day at 572. And then the next day, Thursday, it opened up at 562, it dipped to 550. It went up to 577 on Thursday and then closed the day at 578. Today we opened up and it dipped even more, 539, but still remaining above $5. You have to remember that. And went up to 561. So you can see just this past week has been pretty stable, especially if you zoom out. The more you zoom out, the more you can see, no, we're on a good, we're doing really well. Metamaterials is. So looking at the support levels, yeah, we're pretty much on an upward trend. It's slow but surely. It's like the tortoise and the hare kind of situation. I'm going to take a closer look at IRNT next. Okay, so I see here IRNT on the RSI is at 40, so it's kind of in between there. It's not overbought or oversold. It's kind of in between, but looking at this chart kind of tells you a different story. There's a big sell-off right here since, what day is this? Since the 29th. So the last 3 days, we've seen a huge sell-off. Actually, even up here when it peaked at $46. This is definitely going back to at least $28. So you could double your money just by buying this at the price it was today, and which I did today. So IRNT, I do believe they have a lot of potential in the future. It's being shorted incredibly, and it recovered a little bit as well. So I want to take a look at the last 5 days of IRNT. The last 5 days, actually, let's look at the last month first, and then we'll zoom in. So this was up at $46 on the 16th, and since then it's really taken a topple. It's been, I've read a lot of people bought this around 30, 28, or they bought above $20 anyhow. And when it dropped at these support levels that I was talking about in my other video there, or with Tony Stark on the thumbnail, this really, went down to where I said it would. And it doesn't happen all the time where something I project will come true, but in this case it did today. And yeah, I think we can clearly see the support level was at least $10, 10 to 13. So I did buy today because it hit that expert level. I bit. I actually sold off all my shares of everything else that's not metamaterial, and then a little bit of metamaterial just to afford a substantial amount, because if you don't buy enough, you really can't make enough money in the stock market if you don't have enough money and have enough shares. So that's what I did. But my majority of my shares, I believe 99% or at least 90% are metamaterials. And then somewhere around 5% is in this stock, IRNT now. So looking at the last 5 days, we can see that Monday was pretty steady for IRNT. It peaked at $26. And then on Tuesday, it looked really, really stable at $26 level. And then on Wednesday, we can see a tumble. It really tumbled down to $21. And then the next day, actually it went below $20 right at the end of the trading session. On Thursday, it continued to dip. to 16, and you can see people are just holding and holding. And there was news about, I believe, they're releasing more shares at a price of 11.50. So a lot of people really panicked. So we can see at the end of the day on Thursday, after hours, that's when the panic started on Thursday. And we can see Friday, the reaction, it really dipped at 14, went down to 12, and that's when I bought right here. The timing was impeccable. I'm really thankful that I was alerted to this. I wasn't my own talents, is just being, it's providence. That's what I believe that what it was there. Just doing this channel even is not coincidence. I believe it's providence. I'm just trying to help people out. So hopefully that's what this channel has done for you and other people. So 12, you can see, really took a tumble, and it looks like support because it's starting to go up again. So we'll see what the future holds in the next week, next month, the next year. I believe this is a long play. We'll see how IRNT shapes out, but I put my sell order for 40 plus. So that's what I'm doing there. I'm going to look next at Twitter and Reddit. Okay. I lied. I'm not going to Twitter because there's nothing there, but I want to talk about Clover as well, because I recall, if you recall, I remember that I did a video talking about the next GameStop and AMC, and I compared metamaterials and Clover to those two massive stocks. And I do believe Clover has a lot of future potential. I really do believe this. If we look at the last year, we haven't been around very long, but support is around, you can see the 52-week range, 631 to $28. So this is a massively shorted stock. The reason I did not buy this and I bought IRNT instead is because my support level is between $6 to $7. So once it hits $7, that's when I'm going to start buying it up. And we almost hit that today, but I'm waiting for the $7. So that's where I'm going to buy it, $7. I'll even sell off some metamaterial just to get this at $7. It's how bullish I am in the stock. And you can see resistance is looking at like at least 13, maybe even 14, but at the most, you're looking at 20 plus. So you can triple your portfolio just buying this. That's why I'm very bullish on this, but it just hasn't hit my support level yet. So when that does, I'll definitely do a video on that. So we'll see where this is heading, but I do believe this might be, as the market goes, this will go down as well. So I'm just going to be patient with it and wait for the $6 to $7 range. And that's when I'm going to choose to bite. So I'm going to go next to Wall Street Bets and MetaMaterial subreddit. Welcome back. So on Wall Street Bets, in the top 20 posts, there is a post about IRNT. And it says here, three weeks ago, my account was zero. I threw in $2,000 for this one play, IRNT. I caught it on the way up and down. Recoup my losses for the year. So he put in $2,000. And now he has $31,000. My goodness. Wow. Okay. So he looks like he bought options. Again, I don't do options. I just buy the share itself. So from 2,000, he went up to 31,000. Apparently, that's what he said. So just kind of take their word for it. This is what happens when you do your own DD. You bought puts on the way down. I would buy some calls right now. This thing is way oversold. I can't believe it closed above 14 today. I'm done with IRNT. So you can see a lot of fear, a lot of FUD here. Pretty clear you'll go back to zero again. Oh my goodness, it's just well done. IRNT was an insane ride. It's not over yet. I think we have to give it some more time. Give it 6 months to a year. We'll see where it shows up. If it's just a pump and dump, I don't believe that's the case. Let's go to metamaterials to close out. First post on metamaterial subreddit, it says nanotech signed the contracts with the US government yesterday. And the link is provided, so that's a done deal. Next, it's talking about nanotech again and how they got the court approval for the acquisition for this deal with metamaterial. So that's done as well. I'm going to close that. That's pretty self-explanatory. The next one, talking about the contract via the U.S. Federal Procurement Data System, was approved September 30th. So that's pretty good. Again, it's just more confirmation of this deal going through. And then this post is talking about yesterday and today's price actions. So this is a reminder to all: when a company merges or buys another company, the price will usually have an initial decrease. Why? Well, this decrease is usually caused by uncertainty of the large purchase or by the recognition of a premium being paid. In the case of the nanotech purchase, MetaMaterials paid a premium of something like plus 50 cents per share, about a 67% premium, to make the buyout acquisition and to make it quickly. This was reflected in the nanotech share price jumping from 75 cents to $1.25, with $1.25 being the acquisition price per share. To note, this does not mean MetaMaterials would experience a 67% drop or anywhere near that. It only means that MetaMaterials paid $90 million for a $50 million company in order to acquire its assets in a very short period of time. 3 months is a very short period for these kinds of actions. That overpayment of $40 million is what is reflected in the drop in price, mixed with uncertainty and possible stock manipulation. Not possible, I think it's pretty much confirmed from shorts and large investors, hedge funds. The good or great news is that it is expected that MetaMaterials will be able to make good use of the assets to ramp up production while they wait for the new building to be completed. So in the medium to long term, this acquisition, nanotech, will be extremely profitable for MetaMaterials, assuming there are no hidden issues. So not just an opinion for the acquisition. So this is a good post. It's a reminder that not only do they have the Torchlight assets, which are worth billions of dollars, they also have actually hundreds of millions. We also have now nanotech, the nanotech acquisition. So they have two very big weapons in their arsenal, besides all the other connections they have and other so many industries that they can get their feet into. Metaverse. Actually, I just want to go back to that last post. They're talking about how they usually go down on an acquisition or a merger. That's not always the case. I've seen some instances where a company will go up, or I should say a stock price will go up as a result of the merger or acquisition. In this case, because it has a lot of the shorts attention, that's why it was shorted. That's why the price went down somewhat. Not a lot, but it's being kept down artificially. Next post talking about an interview with George next week. So big week next week. Amanda Felipe, she is going to have an interview with Brian Lowe, chatting with George of MetaMaterial and early investor Brian E. Lowe, live next week. We'll be exploring what it means to be a truly horizontal company and the impact of going public. So that's going to be interesting. Entrevestor. No comments yet. Okay. How about some PR? We're just going to lighten things up with this little comic. It says here, Meta hell. How about some PR? Messiah, the stock price is plummeting. PR. Anything in a Tesla can be made from MetaMaterials at Elon Musk. Go beyond. Yeah, this is funny. I wanted to lighten things up with that. We have 3 more to go. I'm not sure if they're all worth reading, but we'll take a look. A great article explaining the situation with AMC. This person is asking, did the president of Robinhood really sell all his AMC right before they restricted trading? And it appears, yes, they did. Jim Swart-Twout, Robinhood's president, is both trading and tipping. This is not a gray area. This is not just insider trading. This is complete corruption. And we've gone over that back in January, how it is such a corrupted mess in the stock market. But every now and then we get some justice, and we saw that with AMC when it went up to $72 and had that squeeze there. Public service announcement metaverse. Going to say this again, the metamaterials ticker is not fully converted. This is from Exact Perspective. I'm back with new information on E-Trade. Still having metamaterials is an oil stock. They're still listing them as an oil stock. This is a major problem. Why? Because until all brokers are using the correct SIC code, the stock is still technically Torchlight. Wow, this is very big if this is true. For a new investor who does not know what is going on, or an old metamaniac who just forgot how we got here, go to the Voltron Part 3. We detail how the SIC code affects the trading algorithms, how it can be manipulated and used to suppress a stock, like we've seen with Meta for the past couple of months now. So, dear E-Trade, metamaterials and semiconductors code with 3674. It is not an oil and gas company. That was Torchlight. Retail investors want this fixed immediately since the merger, and the SEC confirming this was months ago. We'll check every day until fixed. So no new company is going to put out PR on a ticker that is not your own. It's like paying for someone else's house that you don't live in. So for those still asking for CEO, GP to drop some, George Pelikaros to drop some PR, please stop. The PR will not be dropped until they fully convert the ticker. This is speculation, but we'll see if he's right. If you go back to everything George has tweeted and said, you'll see this. Buy, hold, and vote, and say something to your broker. If you have E-Trade or another brokerage that isn't using the semiconductor SIC code 3674, that goes for data centers too. We can't control much, but the float and our voices, George and Meta, can only do so much. Thank you, and butterflies. So other people have said this is still an oil. So again, whether this is true or not, it's going to take time for all this to be ironed out. At least a year, I think. But we're looking at April 1st, 2022, as I've said many times in this channel. If the stock drops below $4, so $3.99, this channel shuts down. Unfortunately, that's just the wager I put. I have to honor my word. But right now, we've been floating above $5 for the last month or so, and even hit $6 plus. So George never mentioned a partnership with Asahi Glass. If you're referring to Metamaterials News, I found a tweet related to what you're talking about. It is not an official representative. They don't discuss Asahi as a current partner. It is not a new discovery or new PR. So yeah, that isn't confirmed regarding Asahi. What else did he say here? The QSIP and SIC code, okay. So he's pretty much just replying with the DD he did. This is based on research and DD done by so many metaholics over the past 3 months. New PR is not dropped. That is a fact. I taught you on sector labeling and SIC codes. That's a fact too, because you don't know how that affects the stock. Do your own DD, another me teaching you moment, butterflies. Okay, so I'm going to read his replies. He's really replied a lot. Take a look at this. Metamaterials is still an oil ETF. So I put it and the stocks in the ETF together. For the time I've monitored it, it moves with these stocks. Look at these charts. Could we not simply contact Meta's investor? We've alerted them. Okay. Thank you for this update. Okay, so someone did have a conversation with Trading 212. They are a materials company. PR makes Meta go up. First, this was not an argument. I guess he came to argue PR does not always make a stock go up. You calling it sector labeling lets me know you are not fully aware of how QSIP and SIC codes work and how they interact with trading algos. It's more than labeling. It's a barcode to the stock where the trading algorithms recognize that stock and based on its value in the sector will either buy, sell, or hold. This is why unusual whales had Meta as a sale because the sector was mining and their algorithms got a sell signal. It's actually a really important point. This sector labeling is why well-known research companies like Refinitiv are comparing Meta to other oil companies as competitors. It's more than simple sector labeling. This mislabeling has huge effects on institutional buying and selling. It also affects the ETFs they are placed in, as metamaterial stock is also in the PXI ETF, an oil ETF. Metamaterials has not done any major PR since the merger, and I agree with this. I think we can all agree with that. George actually makes hints to it in his tweets every time Metaholics ask for some PR. This is documented in his tweets. Take a look. A CEO would not put out new PR on a ticker that does not fully belong to them, and they have not closed out Torchlight short positions. So again, this is going to take a while. So I think next year we're going to see a very different story by this time, 2022, October. There's more evidence I can show you, but it's all of the DDs and tweets we've done. If you feel this is not accurate, do your own DD and show us how you feel. Show us how you feel has nothing to do with this. I don't like to do this, but to dismiss something without doing your own research to verify and then make a response like we're arguing is not good. We can have a civil discourse, but when one is not educated on these situations, this becomes a me teaching you moment. Telling people something like PR will not be dropped until the sector change or QSIP change when there has been PR does not count as teaching. It is an unfounded position. Okay, once again, you're not listening or reading correctly. This is not my personal opinion. This is based on research. New PR has not been dropped. This is the fact. I agree with this. I mean, there hasn't been major PR at least. So I think that's it for that. We have one more post. So thank you, Exact Perspective, for that perspective. Here's something posted by Nanotech yesterday. Milestones. We can see various milestones here. And then here, August 2021, agreed to be acquired by Metamaterials. I want to take a closer look at this image so I can read what it says. Let's just wait for that to load. Look at their year in review, 2021, 2020 to 2021, October 2020. Renewal of central bank project with a larger scope, December 2020. The importance of 3D stereo depth and authentication presented at holography conference, UV recombination system setup complete. January 2021, new recurring business win for secure film, new brand protection wins. February 2021, enhanced working process developed for recombination system. Banknote industry veteran Richard Rowe joins Nanotech board of directors. Currency news features hybrid nano and microstructures. March 2021, live optic protect security foil launched. New patent portfolio acquired, new white paper using nano optics to create a new highly secure brand protection solution. New Luna Chrome formats launched for the brand protection industry. So we can see they're doing a lot of new technological innovations for their currencies and printing papers, holographic printing. April 2021, Luma Chrome color shifting film featured in security threads for banknotes in 2021. Awarded a new $690,000 purchase order to advance development contract. May 2021, banknote technology report. 7 features the evolution of color optic technology, new NIL, OM air filtration system and Thurzo production facility, a new 635,000 banknote Lumichrome film order, and then July 2021, stop counterfeiting before it starts, presented at Virtual Brand Protection Forum, enhanced banknote security with color optic technology, presented at BIN webinar. Euro 2020, these guys are busy. Tickets protected by nanotech live optic technology. CONCACAF Gold Cup, officially licensed merchandise, protected by nanotech live optic technology. And then we have here last month or 2 months ago now, August 2021, they agreed to be acquired by Metamaterials. So that's all for this video. A lot of big developments. I'm not sure what to call this video, but IRNT is definitely one of the potential thumbnails, Metamaterials and IRNT and Clover. We've had a great week. It's been up and down, but overall we've been stable. We've been above $5. I'm thinking of doing a weekly update, but as you can see, just doing the last 3 days took quite a while. So I might rethink that and just stick to daily updates for now. I apologize for the lack of daily updates. I've been going through some transitioning and some just events, life events. So thank you very much for your patience. Thank you for your support. And I appreciate all the support, all the views, all the thumbs up, all the comments. Thank you very much. I hope that this channel helps you out. I hope it helps me out. I just took my advice for the first time. That might be the title of this video. So everybody have a great weekend and God bless you all and God bless your investments. See you on Monday.